today's video is sponsored by Cinemagic Scoring. More on that in a bit. Fans of this channel have figured out that I'm a John Powell fan, and this is one of my all-time favorite soundtracks. I was studying a particular cue from this book a couple months ago, and I figured out what I think is a trick that John Powell uses to create these lush, elaborate string voicings. So I've broken them down into 6 steps for you here, which we're going to cover now. Step 1 is create a melody with some basic chord triads underneath. This is what I came up with. Just to replay that a little slower, G minor is our key, so we're starting on 1, 6, 7, then major 3, 6 again, minor 4, this is an A flat chord here, which is called a Neapolitan, and then going to D sus, to D major. That's our basic chord progression. Now, we have to make this a little bit more interesting, so step 2 is going to be dividing this into 4-part voicings. The purpose of voice leading is to keep voices a little closer together with smaller intervals. Typically, this would be if you had singers so that they could not have to have all these large leaps, but it translates to orchestra as well. You'll see this piano roll has not too much voice movement in between all these voices in comparison to this one, which has a lot more jumps. Here's what this one sounds like. Now, to accomplish this, we have to use things like inversions, we have to use some suspensions, which we've already done before, and a little tiny bit of actual voice movement between the parts. That's going to come a bit later, but you'll see what I've done here is I started on G minor, then I went to an E flat in first inversion, then we went to F major in a first inversion, which pulls us straight over to B flat. That movement is way more fluid than us doing this. All right, so let me play it one more time so you can kind of capture that. Now here we open up into open voicings. Closed voicings are when we take triads and keep them tight together. Open voicings are when we space things out a little bit wider. So an open voicing for this E flat major would be this, right? Instead of this. I've talked about this before in my Secret to Masterful Orchestration video. You can check that out. I have that linked in the description or above. And then we close it off. Now, step 3 is still in the piano roll, believe it or not, but it's going to be adding a little bit more movement. The reason I keep it in the piano roll is because if we transfer this to strings, it's going to get really messy really quick, and we're already thinking about orchestration before we figured out our arrangements. So, to move that around, we've just added a little bit more movement. You'll see it's pretty subtle, but when we have opportunities to walk things a little bit, we do, and that's going to be in the bass and the inner voicings. Here's what that sounds like. Okay, so notable things, we have a couple repeated notes, which we did not have before. These are because I'm anticipating having the strings need to have a little bit of movement inside of them. We also have some bass walking around here. So, bum, 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 ba-da-dum. Lots more movement in there. Talked about that in my bass video. And we also have inner movement inside. We have... Now this starts to feel not like blocky chords, but like actual voices moving through. And if you're not sure, you can always test it out by singing individual parts, and you'll get an idea of how melodic those inner ideas really are. Now, because we put all this hard work in the beginning of the process, it makes the transfer to orchestra way easier. So we can actually take all these ideas and transfer them straight to strings. If you want to see how I accomplish that on a more technical level in the programming, you can check that out on my Compose and Conquer Discord and library. I have that available to all patrons at the $10 level, which is all I have right now. Here's what that exact idea sounds like when it's transferred to the strings. That's a very direct transcription from the piano to these strings, which is not traditionally how we do it necessarily. It's going to do the job, but not necessarily add any interest to it. We've got violin 1 taking the melody, violin 2 and viola taking the inner parts, and then cello and bass doubled at the octave to do the bass line. To add a little bit of interest right off the bat, we could split the cellos and have the first section of cellos actually play the melody an octave with the violin 1. That sounds like this. Now, step 5 is where the magic's really going to kick in. But before we get to step 5, if you're a composer and you've never worked with an orchestra, or you have a project or portfolio piece you're working on, I highly recommend you check out Cinemagic Scoring. They reached out to me a few months ago, and after checking out their pricing and what they offer, I think it's a fantastic deal for composers looking to get started with live musicians. They work with the prolific Cape Philharmonic Orchestra based in South Africa, and they have a wide range of options for you. They've got full and shared sessions, you can get a video recording if you want to, customizable ensembles and additional instruments you can add, and multiple venues for you to choose from. Now, if you're curious what they sound like, here's a little example. Now, if that sounds exciting and you'd like to work with them, use the coupon code in my description to save 10% off your first order. I'll probably be booking them soon myself. Thanks again, Cinemagic Scoring. Back to the video. Now, step 5 is so simple, it's going to blow your mind. We're literally just going to take all of our ideas and double them at the octave. We're not going to focus on the distribution of the parts yet. Instead, we're just going to take everything, double it. So violin 1 gets doubled at the octave, violin 2 doubled at the octave, viola, etc., all the way down the line. That's going to sound like this. Now it's like, whoa, everything just popped out of the texture, right? And all we did was double it in the octaves. It's pretty amazing. This is not done yet because there's gonna be some issues. If we really dig inside here and take a look, you'll see we have some things that just don't really make sense. Viola's split. You're gonna have cellos in ways that are split. It's all just split in a rather uninteresting way, and it's better to have some interlocking between these different parts instead of having them be staggered octaves all the way through. That leads us to the last step, and it is one of the more complicated steps. That's going to be distributing these octave parts across different sections. It's kind of like a big puzzle, and if you watch the uncut video of me making this, available on Patreon, you'll see it took me a while to actually figure this out. The beauty is, once you've got this done, you're really done, and you've created something that has this insanely lush texture to it. Here is what I wound up creating. Now, would you believe it if I told you that is the exact same idea as this one? Not only that, but we haven't added any extra voicings or notes that weren't in our original finished piano sketch. You can hear all those voices here. The biggest difference is that we've distributed them in different ways, and of course we've bumped them in the octaves apart together to give them more interest. So this is an amazing trick I learned. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, you can leave a like, subscribe for more, and if you want to support the channel and get access to the uncut video and MIDI, I highly recommend you support me on Patreon. Really appreciate everybody who's there. So thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.